We're here today on Country Pocket with Lael Neale. Uh, the new album is Altogether Stranger, and she finds herself in a bit of a strange world as it exists today. Um, and you know what? I'm right there with her. Lael, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well today.
Um, the first song I wanted to talk about, and one I feel like really describes sort of that state of confusion, is "Tell Me How to Be Here." Um, Explain to me what it is that you've seen that makes you feel as though something's just off.
Well, I mean, any number of things. I feel like living in the city, um, to me, it always walking out the door was always kind of like you're faced with some kind of sadness or pain or disturbance. A lot of it was sound for me living in the city, like the sounds of sirens or helicopters um, or construction. It's just like constant human activity that's kind of like um, impinging on our own mental space always. So that was sound was a big one for me. Even music playing everywhere, what seemed like a big like intrusion on my consciousness, my mind. But walking down the street, there's trash everywhere. There are people living on the streets who are suffering, but everyone kind of averts their eyes. And yeah, that's just in the immediate vicinity. But then if you're in on social media or taking in the news or anything, you could get up first in the thing in the morning and just see a barrage of horrific things that are happening all over the world. Um, so yeah, it does feel strange to be here. And I feel like either people are in denial of that and kind of numbing out through distractions, or are hyper focusing on it and kind of letting it rule and destroy their lives. So it's a really strange time to be navigating all of these things, I feel.
Very, very well put. You talk about being born to a chart, your feet not being able to connect with the ground. So I just want to, I guess, talk to you about do you feel that society as it exists is sort of a natural state of things?
Not at all, not even remotely. I mean, the born to a chart line has to do with even the way that we come into the world. We are often born into sterile hospitals with and taken from our moms and had things injected into us, and it's like a crazy way to even come into the world that has been completely normalized now. And um and then you're a number, you're weighed, and then you're classified as this gender or that gender, and it's like it's really strange. You're immediately like into the system of society when you're born, and then it continues from there through the way that schooling is now, very like homogenized, and it's like a systematic way of making everyone the same. And so I see society as pretty insane now, and basically unnatural.
So it winds up with you saying, "Tell me how to be here." Definitely some powerful words. How do you feel like, okay, I'll ask two separate questions, but very similar. Do you feel like you need instructions on how to exist? And do you feel like human beings should need instructions on how to exist?
No, I mean, that line is kind of ironic. Um, it's both. It's funny because I definitely, obviously, from what I just said, think that we should all be um, individuals and living out our individuality and our um, and through our own internal knowing. And I know that, I feel that, and then at the same time, I'm often looking to other people, influencers or whoever authorities, and outsourcing my own power because I don't want to go through the trouble of figuring out what's the way to live in the world. So tell me how to be here is kind of ironic. I'm being kind of funny, but also, I mean, I have Googled what do people do before to to like figure because I'm because sometimes we do want to be told what to do. It's a really strange uh it's a strange dichotomy in me. I feel like I on the one hand don't ever want to be told what to do and want to be my own authority, and then at the same time I will outsource it if I don't feel like going through the trouble of figuring out the way to be in the world. So yeah, it's both.
I mean, modern society, it's new. It's very new that you can sort of Google what to do, but we've always, I feel like, lived in a society where we have folks above us, more experienced than us, helping us out in terms of what to do. You know, like the notion of instruction is not new at all.
That's definitely true. And arguably we're kind of the most free that we've ever been now, considering, you know, the way that people followed along the church orders or what there have been way more authoritarian times in human history and you're right, even like communal societies or primitive societies, I'm sure had like pretty strong rules and customs that the members of the society were supposed to follow along with. So it is kind of, I mean, I say it's unnatural the way we're living now, but maybe we're headed more in the direction of, of individualism and charting our own paths. But you're right.
In some ways, I would have to agree with you. In other ways, I'm very concerned the way the way society is sort of turning towards a more authoritarian viewpoint again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a reaction to progress. I mean, that it does seem like that's the way that 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 culture has evolved in the past, that you take a bunch of steps forward and then the pendulum swings back and then it goes forward more and then it goes back a little more and then forward. So I do think we're in like a backswing at this moment, but I also feel like that's kind of creating even more momentum on the other side, and people are reacting in really strong ways against the authoritarianism. So yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But we do have to remember that like the cycles of humanity are much bigger than our brief lives here. So the hope is that generally the trajectory is toward progress and freedom.
Wouldn't it be nice, though, if our brief lives we were living on that happy trajectory? Wouldn't that be great?
Yes, of course. And I also think that the more you enact it in your personal life, within in your power, in your immediate, waking up and going to the grocery store. The more you can enact that kind of freedom and individualism, the more it spreads. So I think we can be, it's often we feel as though, and obviously there are people who are experiencing incredible oppression now, and are directly affected daily by this. So I'm very fortunate. I don't have to, I'm not dealing with that now. And so it is the job of people who aren't directly dealing with it to do something to protect and advocate for those who are being oppressed. But I do think that enacting it in our day-to-day lives and treating other people as we would like to be treated, all of that counts and is part of creating the society that we want. We do have a lot of power.
I'd like to move on to a song, All Good Things Will Come to Pass, because you, I think you have a really interesting view of humanity and religion in there, describing human beings as sort of, sneaking around Earth, trying to do things while God isn't looking. Tell me about that metaphor.
Yeah, I mean that's what I feel like. I mean, I love the I'm not religious, but I love the stories and the allegorical nature of the Bible, and I do think it has something to teach us. And and yeah, I mean, I I feel like the idea that maybe there was a source or a God, whatever you'd call it, that created this kind of perfect, beautiful earth and was like, it's really simple. You just have to go live on the land and be kind to each other and make more humans and live in harmony with the earth. That's all you have to do. And then humans are like, no, but we are smarter. We have a better idea. We're gonna create, condominiums and cars and all these things. And basically we've completely like gone off the rails of what could have been like a simple, lovely experience here. But so I'm making fun of humans. Oh, while like what I was saying earlier is true too. I believe in free will and the ability to make choices on our own. So uh so yeah, it's kind of like an open commentary on what is like quote unquote God's plan and what is humans' plan, and will they ultimately line up, or are we just going to go down this path of self-destruction?
Yeah, I appreciate the way in that song, it's like we are super jazzed and celebrating all this progress. And then all of a sudden, it seems like we start noticing, oh, some of these things that we maybe, janitors and kings and toll booth operators, maybe we should have noticed some of these things were bad, but we're going to keep going. And then all of a sudden, like the world's falling apart. And I feel like that's a very accurate view of the sweep of history.
Yeah, I summed it up pretty fast. It flips really quickly in the song from good, happy to not so good. But yeah, that is what it seems. It seems like in the past 125 years or something, there's been an incredible acceleration toward the things that we're doing, creating like a very immediate, not very positive consequences on the earth. So yeah, that's kind of what it's pointing to.
Yeah, you definitely seem like a student of history. Very, very interesting. Not necessarily the view I usually expect from my albums, but it's good. I'm enjoying it.
Thank you.
Um, tell me a little bit about the uneasy sort of feeling you create with the musical backing. Like, why are you choosing those instruments and almost discordant notes?
A lot of that is co coming from Guy Blakesley, who produces the album and also plays with me. A lot of that is coming from his contribution of instrumentation. And I feel like, yeah, he brings kind of like a counterbalance to maybe something that could be more sweet and lulling with just the songs, which I appreciate. I feel like the songs need that. They need a little bit of like a it's like a riptide or something. It's something pulling you back in. Um, so yeah, that would have to be because of Guy, and he comes from more of a um I guess the dissonance could be coming kind of more from a punk standpoint or perspective, and it brings a little bit more edginess to the music.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it punk, but I do like the way the strangeness of the sound sort of matches up with the strangeness of just everything you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I yeah, I feel like the thing I feel like the comment or feedback that has most annoyed me in the past, which is meant to be a nice thing, but is when people say I sound sweet or pretty or something, because I feel like there's a lot of bite to the words, and I feel like with the music being kind of strange and otherworldly, and um, it helps counterbalance what could be perceived as being sweet or gentle or light, you know.
Yeah, I completely understand not wanting to be perceived as light because what I hear is very much not someone who's turning towards the light. You're looking head on into the strangeness of it all.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we're gonna hear All Good Things Will Come to Pass, and we will be right back.